1. The truth about attraction. Women are not attracted to men who beg for their attention. They don't fall for overly nice guys who try too hard, or flashy, loud men who overcompensate. Women are drawn to something deeper, more primal, something most men completely overlook. And the sad truth is, society doesn't want you to know this. Society wants you weak, distracted, and chasing women like a dog chases a bone. But you're here because you're ready to rise above the lies, to discover what truly makes a man irresistibly attractive to women. By the end of this video, you'll understand the one trait that separates the men women settle for from the men they fantasize about. You'll learn what makes a man respected, admired, and unforgettable in a woman's mind. If you're serious about becoming that kind of man, stay until the end, because what I'm about to share with you will forever change how you view women, relationships, and even yourself. Comment, "I'm ready," below if you're here seeking truth, and subscribe now to help spread this message to more men like you. 2. Silent strength is magnetic. Every second you stay here brings you one step closer to becoming the man you were born to be. Let's begin. Number 1. Women love strength in silence. Most men don't even realize they've already lost the moment they walk into the room. Their eyes dart around, searching for approval. Their voices tremble under pressure. Their gestures scream insecurity. They think women don't notice, but they're dead wrong. Women notice everything, every glance, every flinch, every crack in your voice. They don't just see it, they feel it. Women are biologically wired to sense weakness. And the moment they do, they lose respect. And respect is the foundation of attraction. Without it, you're nothing more than background noise in a room full of men. Real strength isn't loud. It doesn't boast. It doesn't beg for attention. Real strength is silent. It's the unshakable calm you radiate when the world throws chaos at you. Picture this. A woman observes two men in the exact same situation. One panics, yells, gets angry, or makes excuses. The other remains composed, calm, and in control. Who do you think she'll be drawn to? The answer is obvious. Strength in silence isn't just about staying calm, it's about control. Control over your emotions, your reactions, and ultimately, your life. Women don't want a man who crumbles under pressure. Why? Because life is pressure. Relationships are pressure. And when things get hard, and they always will, she needs to know you can handle it. Not just for her, but for yourself. Women are emotional creatures, but they despise emotional instability in men. Not because they lack empathy, but because they can't rely on it. 3. Emotional mastery and leadership. When you overreact, when you let your emotions dictate your actions, you're sending her one clear message. You're not strong enough to lead. And a man who can't lead is not a man she can follow. Strength in silence starts with emotional control. Think about the last time you lost it. Maybe someone insulted you, and you blew up. Maybe something didn't go your way, and frustration took over. In that moment, you gave away your power. You let the world control you, instead of controlling yourself. Women see that, and they're turned off by it. They don't want a man enslaved by his emotions. They want a man who masters them. You've probably heard women say, "I want a man who makes me feel safe." That safety isn't just physical, it's emotional. A man who's easily rattled by the smallest things isn't someone she can trust. And trust is the bedrock of attraction. Without it, you're just a passing distraction, easily forgotten. But when you radiate calm, when you show her that nothing shakes you, you become irresistible. Here's where most men get it wrong. They think being stoic means being cold or distant. That's not it at all. Strength in silence isn't about suppressing your emotions, it's about mastering them. It's about knowing when to act and when to hold back. It's about choosing your battles wisely. Women don't admire men who explode over every inconvenience. They admire the man who can take a hit, smile, and keep moving forward. Picture this. You walk into a room full of tension. People are arguing. Stress is high. Most men either retreat to a corner or join the chaos. But not you. You walk in calm, grounded. Your presence quiets the room. You don't say much, but when you do, every word carries weight. Women notice this. They can't help but be drawn to it. Why? Because it's rare. In a noisy world, the man who doesn't need to shout to be heard is the one who earns respect. 4. Own your flaws. Own the room. Women aren't looking for perfection. They know you're human. They know you have flaws. But what sets you apart is how you handle them. Do you let your insecurities define you? Or do you rise above them? Do you let others' opinions control your actions? Or do you stay true to who you are? Strength in silence means owning your flaws, without letting them own you. It's not about being invincible. It's about being at peace with your imperfections, and refusing to be shaken by them. When you master this, everything changes. How women see you, how the world sees you, and most importantly, how you see yourself. Because strength in silence isn't just about attracting women. It's about becoming the man you've always wanted to be. The kind of man who doesn't need validation, because he validates himself. The kind of man who doesn't chase, but attracts. Who doesn't react, but responds, with purpose. Most men will never understand this. They'll spend their lives chasing approval, trying to impress women with money, looks, or status. But none of that matters if you lack what women truly crave. Inner strength. Not the kind you show in a fight, but the kind you show in the face of adversity. The kind that says, no matter what happens, I will rise. That's what makes you unforgettable. That's what makes you irresistible. And if you're still here, you're not like most men. You're different. You want more. Because deep down, you know you're capable of more. Let me tell you this. The world needs men like you. Women need men like you. Men who are strong, steady, and unshakable. Men who lead, not with words, but with action. Men who don't just survive, but thrive. 5. Commanding respect without saying a word. Most men let the world decide their worth. They let women decide their value. But not you. You're here to take control. To be the man who doesn't just walk into a room, he owns it. A man who doesn't need to speak to be respected. A man women can't ignore, because his presence says it all. Strength in silence isn't just a skill, it's a mindset. It's a way of living. And once you embrace it, you'll never look at the world the same again. You'll stop chasing women, and start attracting them. You'll stop seeking approval, and start earning respect. You'll stop reacting, and start leading. This is your wake-up call. Will you answer it? Number 2. Why women crave men who lead with logic, not emotion. Most men live as prisoners, not behind bars, but inside their own minds. They let emotions control them. They let rejection crush them. Criticism paralyzes them. Failure defines them. And it's a tragedy, because women see this, and they judge it harshly. Women are incredibly sensitive to a man's energy. If you're reactive, insecure, or emotionally unstable, she senses it before you even speak. And here's what matters. Women aren't just turned off by it, they're repelled by it. Modern relationships have exposed this truth more than ever. Today, women are surrounded by weak men, men who crumble under the slightest pressure. Men starving for approval, then burning out from chasing it. But deep down, every woman craves a man who leads, not just her, but himself. A man who doesn't flinch under stress. A man who leads with clarity and purpose, not by controlling her, but by mastering himself. A man who thinks before he acts. Who isn't a slave to his feelings. Who doesn't panic when rejected, collapse when criticized, or break when life hits hard. No, he adapts. He learns. He becomes stronger. Women can feel this strength on an instinctual level. It's not something you can fake. It's in your voice, your posture, your eyes, your presence. It's in the way you carry yourself when the world pushes back. 6. Rejection, criticism, and resilience. Let's talk about rejection, something most men fear more than anything else. To them, it's a dagger to their ego, a blow to their identity. But rejection isn't the problem. The real problem is how you respond to it. Weak men let rejection define their worth. They sulk, they rage, or worse, they give up. Strong men? They understand rejection is just feedback. It doesn't determine their value. It's a lesson, a chance to evolve. And women are deeply attracted to this mindset, because it shows resilience. It says, this man can't be broken by life. Now let's talk about criticism. Most men crumble under it. Their self-esteem is so fragile that even minor critique feels like a personal attack. But here's the truth. If you can't handle criticism, you're not ready to handle a woman. Women will challenge you. They'll point out your flaws. They'll push your buttons, not because they hate you, but because, on a subconscious level, they're wired to test for strength. When you collapse under those tests, you're showing her that you can't handle her or yourself. But when you stay calm, when you listen, learn, and adapt, you're showing her something powerful. You're a man who can handle anything. Now, let's get real about failure. Most men are terrified of it. They avoid risks, play it safe, and stay in their comfort zones because the thought of failing is unbearable. But failure is unavoidable. It's a part of life. And more importantly, it's a part of growth. Women don't want a man who's afraid to fall. They want a man who's willing to try. A man who can take a hit and keep going. Who sees failure not as the end, but as a stepping stone towards success. 7. Leading yourself to lead others. Here's where most men fail. They let emotions run the show. They react instead of respond. Anger, desperation, insecurity, those feelings guide their decisions. And women? They see that as weakness. Because that's exactly what it is. Overreacting is the opposite of strength. It's proof you're not in control of yourself. And if you can't control yourself, how could you possibly lead her? True leadership starts from within. It begins with the ability to master your mind, rise above emotion, and act with clarity and purpose. And women crave this because it's rare. Most men are followers. They follow their feelings. They follow trends. They follow other men. But a man who leads with logic, a man who takes command of his own life, that's the man women naturally want to follow. Think about modern relationships. Today, women are more independent than ever. They don't need men to survive, and they don't need men for validation. But what they do need is a man who can lead, not by controlling them, but by inspiring them. A man with a vision for his life. A man who knows where he's going, and isn't afraid to walk alone if necessary. That's what makes you unforgettable. That's what makes you magnetic. When you lead with logic, you stop chasing approval. You stop worrying about what others think. You begin living by your own code, your own values. And that kind of confidence? It's irresistible. Women are drawn to men who've mastered themselves because it makes them feel safe. It says, this man can handle life. He can handle challenges, and he can handle me. And let me tell you, women want to be handled. Not in a controlling or oppressive way, but in a way that makes them feel secure, understood, and valued. When you lead with logic, you become the man she's been waiting for. The man she respects. The man she can't stop thinking about. 8. The power of purpose. Let's be honest, purpose is the ultimate aphrodisiac. A man with purpose doesn't just attract women. He captivates them. But here's the hard truth. Most men live without any real direction. They wake up, go to jobs they hate, kill time with empty hobbies, and wonder why they feel hollow inside. So they chase women, thinking it'll fill the void. But it never does. And women? They can see it instantly. A man without purpose is a man without power. And that repels them. Purpose isn't just about having a career or setting goals. It's about having a vision for your life. It's about knowing who you are, where you're going, and what you stand for. Women crave this because it's so rare. In a world full of drifting men, a man with direction is a beacon. He doesn't need to prove himself. He doesn't need to chase anyone. His life speaks for him. And women notice, because when a man lives on purpose, he becomes magnetic, not because of what he says or does, but because of the energy he radiates, confidence, focus, and relentless drive. That kind of presence? Unforgettable. It tells her you're a man who can lead, a man who can handle pressure, a man who knows exactly where he's headed. In modern relationships, too many men turn women into their purpose. They make her the mission, the obsession, the entire reason for their existence. And it kills attraction instantly. Because women don't want to be your purpose. They want to join your purpose. They don't want to be the destination. They want to be part of the journey. 9. Living with purpose changes everything. When you make a woman your entire purpose, you're telling her one thing loud and clear. I have nothing else going on. And there's nothing less attractive than a man with no ambition beyond gaining her approval. Now think about the men women admire most: leaders, innovators, visionaries. These men aren't chasing women. They're chasing dreams, goals, and passions. And because of that, women chase them. That's the paradox of purpose. The more you focus on your mission, the less you need to pursue women, and the more they're drawn to you. Purpose creates a powerful aura of independence. And independence is wildly attractive. But here's the challenge. Finding your purpose isn't always easy. Most men don't even know where to start. They've been programmed to believe life is about checking boxes. Get a job, buy a house, find a girlfriend, settle down. But that's not purpose. That's survival. Purpose is more than just existing. It's about building something meaningful. Something that excites you. Something that makes you want to jump out of bed each morning. Women want to be with a man who's alive, not just breathing. Purpose gives your life structure. It gives you something to strive for, something to build, something to protect. And women are instinctively drawn to that, because it taps into their biology. They're wired to seek a man who can provide, not just materially, but emotionally and spiritually. A man with purpose provides all three. He's not shaken by opinions. He's not distracted by setbacks. He's focused, determined, unshakable, and that's what makes him irresistible. 10. Purpose makes you a man women respect and follow. When you radiate purpose, you become the kind of man who commands respect. You're not just another face in the crowd. You stand out because you know what you want, and you're not afraid to go after it. Women notice that, because it's rare. Most men wait for life to happen to them. They sit back, hope for luck, and complain when nothing changes. But a man of purpose? He creates his own path, and women are naturally drawn to follow it. Purpose even changes how you interact with women. When you're mission-focused, you don't have time for games. You don't waste energy trying to win validation or impress her. Your energy is sacred, and it's directed at your goals. That's exactly what makes you so attractive. Women respect men who respect themselves enough to put their dreams first. They're drawn to the confidence and discipline that comes from living with direction. But here's where most men go wrong. They think purpose is something you find, like it's just going to magically appear one day. It won't. Purpose is something you create. It's built through hard work, discipline, and self-discovery. It's about trying new things, taking risks, and stepping outside your comfort zone. And most importantly, it's about committing to your vision, even when it gets hard. That kind of resilience inspires women, because it proves you're a man who won't quit. 11. Show her the fire, not just the words. Imagine this. You're on a date, and she asks, "What are you passionate about?" Most men fumble. They give vague answers, or worse, they admit they've never thought about it. But not you. You answer with clarity and conviction. You speak about your vision, your goals, your mission. And when you speak, she sees it. She hears the fire in your voice, feels the focus in your presence, and sees the intensity in your eyes. She's not drawn to the words. She's drawn to the man behind them. Because women don't just want a man with purpose. They want a man who embodies it. It's biological. It's psychological. It's instinctive. Women are wired to seek out men who can protect, provide, and lead, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. A man with purpose does that without trying. He doesn't chase approval. He doesn't wait for permission. He builds. He leads. He elevates everyone around him, including her. When you radiate purpose, you become more than just attractive. You become unforgettable. You earn her respect, her admiration, her loyalty. And no, living with purpose isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. It requires discipline, sacrifice, and the willingness to face your fears and weaknesses. To fight for the man you were born to become. Most men aren't willing to do that. Most will settle for mediocrity, comfort, and excuses. But you're not most men. You're here because you want more. Because you're ready to rise above what's holding so many others back. You're ready to become the man women can't ignore. The man who stands tall, silent, and focused while others chase, beg, and fold. 12. Stop chasing women. Start leading your life. This is your challenge. Stop chasing women and start chasing your purpose. Stop seeking validation and start building a life you're proud of. Stop waiting for something to happen and become the man who makes it happen. Women don't want a man who needs permission. They want a man who's already on the move. When you live with purpose, everything changes. How you see yourself, how the world sees you, and most importantly, how women respond to you. You stop being the man who chases and become the man who attracts. You stop begging for respect and become the man who commands it. You stop drifting and become the man who leads. Most men will never understand this. They'll spend their lives chasing women, approval, and attention, wondering why they're ignored, disrespected, and forgotten. They'll never see the truth that's been right in front of them all along. Women aren't attracted to the man who begs for their attention. They're attracted to the man who creates it, the man who leads with purpose. Who stands unshaken by chaos? Who radiates strength without ever needing to prove it? And if you've made it this far, you're not like most men. You're ready to rise above the noise, the distractions, and the mediocrity that traps so many. You're ready to become the man women respect, admire, and can't stop thinking about. And here's the best part. Every trait we've talked about today, strength, purpose, emotional control, they're not gifts. They're not things you're born with. They're skills. You build them. So the only question left is, will you start building today? Make the commitment and lead the way. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, don't let it stop here. Hit subscribe right now, not just for me, but for you. Because every time you do, you're stepping closer to the man you were born to become. Drop a comment below and tell me, which principle hit you the hardest? Let's start a conversation that helps every man watching level up. Because we're not just building a channel here. We're building a movement, a brotherhood of men committed to power, purpose, and unshakable confidence. So next time life tests you, remember, every reaction is a choice. You can choose to give away your power, or you can choose to own it. You can let the world define your value, or you can stand firm in who you are. The choice is yours. And yes, women are watching. They're waiting to see how you respond. And when you show them you're unshakable, when you prove you're the man who doesn't fold, you won't just gain their respect. You'll earn their admiration. Now go. Lead your life with purpose. Silence the noise. Control the frame. And become the man who attracts, commands, and inspires, without ever having to say a word.